We're on.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 8:02.
Welcome, Terry, so I get there.
Exactly right. We'll skip that. Let's see, you have the minutes in front of you. If I could get a motion to accept the minutes from the January 12th meeting.
We also we got to do two, one for the annual meeting and one for the
Okay.
January 12th.
All right. A motion for the regular January 12th month.
So moved.
All right, motion by Dan.
I'll second it.
Second by Darlene. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Somebody, motion for that.
Hey,
There he is.
have a seat.
Morning.
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 Yeah, give him the right minutes. Just started. All right, and then we have the annual board meeting minutes as well, so we'll take a motion for that.
I'll motion.
Motion by Kristen.
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
Second by Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And we'll go to welcome Terry.
Yeah.
Perfect time,
Right,
huh?
exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, we'll go around the
Yeah.
room. Dan, you want to start?
Yeah, Dan Nicolaiak. Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Kristen Anderson. I am one meeting up on you, so new. Darlene DiCarlo. Nice to meet you.
Ian Seaman, attorney.
I'm Tom Seaman. We've met once
Yeah, I
already.
did, yeah, I met you over there, gotcha.
And I'm Todd Fergali.
Nice to meet you all.
I think our kids went to school together.
Yeah, you look familiar.
Yeah.
Alex or my daughter's Megan, I don't know.
Alex, yeah.
Okay.
My daughter graduated with Alex.
Okay, gotcha.
Delaney.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that comes together.
Yeah, well, welcome.
Good. This typical Lockport connection you got.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's right.
I know.
You gotta know somebody. Well, I'm doing the treasurer's report because Bob's not here. You've got the materials in your packet. I'll do the balance sheet first, just for the heck of it. You can see the checking account balance and the savings account balance. Our standard liabilities, which is the bond payable, short-term and long-term, and then, Terry, we have like $250,000 accrued for the GM litigation over the IDA Park
Yep.
South. I think it's been on our financials for 3 or 4 years now. So for this month, well, you'll see in a second, there actually was a huge net gain given a payment and so on, but everything's in order there. Income statement, we had $1,446 in interest. We'll talk a little about that in a minute. And then the big influx of cash there is the project fee for our PNY solar pilot. And then when the $1.25 came up, I thought, wait a minute. Well, I took those water bottles back. And you can't believe I had $1.25. I'm like walking around town hall like, well, the IDA paid for this. I shouldn't keep the deposit. Who do I give this money to? So here it makes its way up on the income statement. So there you go. Bob will refund.
Completely
Our expenses that month were pretty typical. The management fee, meeting expense, some leftover kind of typical December, January dues that we pay to organizations, and then for the properties that we own that don't have any parcels on and everything, we paid our county taxes as well. So total expenses were $10,949, leaves us with a current month and year-to-date surplus of $137,684. That's pretty atypical. I think the year will be atypical. There's still 95 plus K to come from Yahoo, and then it'll be similar dollars from Cornerstone and Viva. So I'm sure we'll have a very atypical surplus year. We usually try and be as close to break even as possible. On the statement of cash transactions, pretty comparable. You see the Evans interest, the bottle return, and net solar, and then the expenses. as well, just in a bit more detail. Our mileage for me, the copier, the quarterly payments to Seaman Norris, as well as Kate, our CFO, Gazette for public notices, and then the dues were the New York State Economic Development Council, which is pretty much our trade association, then the USA Chamber, and then NYSCAR is the Commercial Realtors Association that we belong to as well, and then we had to do the property tax, or county tax to the receiver of taxes, so that's it.
Any questions for Tom?
Tom, you know, you can get an extra penny on those bottles on Tuesdays.
I did, my wife tells me that all the time.
Money on the table? Could've been $1.50.
Right.
All right, we'll take a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
All right.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Darlene, second by Kristen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then you also have on your last page there are bills for February of 2023. The first is the monthly contract with the town and some limited credit card reimbursement, my mileage for the month, Toshiba for basically a month. For NYSEG, we prepay both NYSEG and National Grid for the lighting to the signs into the park. Our audit is well underway, so you can see that the $2,700 is the first of two progress billings for the 2022 audit with Lumsden McCormick. The MRB group, you'll remember, those of you that have been on the board for a while, that's the group we use that has the cost-benefit analysis tool that we use. And when we were doing the solar, I reached out, I guess somewhat naively, because it wasn't quite set up to do solar, and I had a handful of questions. The next thing I know, there's a $65 bill, so I guess I'll be careful to reach out in the future. And for the subsequent ones like Siva and Lumsden, Cornerstone, I was able to obviously use it, but I got that bill, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, oh, geez, guess I should reach out. Business First, we were in the book of lists, both of the listing and logo. And then you'll recall our one light for the sign up a mountain road was run over by somebody, I think, in the very first winter storm. That's been repaired. I have a photo of it. I just haven't been out at night to see that it's functioning. But those are the bills.
Tom, did they get replaced with LEDs?
I think it did. It looks like it did. Now the challenge will be one side's not LED and the other one.
Oh, okay, it was just one side.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, but that is a good point.
Might reflect in the electric bill.
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
It's well done.
You could double that $1.25.
Right, exactly. All right, we'll take a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
All right. Motion by Dan. Second by Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Might look long, but I'll go through my report fairly quickly. The annual compliance report, the Paris report, I would probably say I'm probably 60% done. I did notice this morning that I finally got school tax payments from Star Point, so that'll allow me to really finish up the each project sheet, so that'll put us more like at 80%. And we always have to wait around until we get final audit, final financial statements, final management letter from Lumsden McCormick, and then it'll be good to go. That audit, speaking of that, is probably 99% done. I've seen draft financials, I've seen obviously a draft management letter and their audit. Just as a note, for Darlene and Kristen, and also I think Bob and Todd are coming, and I'll certainly come. We are gonna do our audit committee meeting next month, right before the March 9th board meeting at 7:30. Mary Young from Lumsden will be here. Anybody's welcome to come, but in the March board meeting, we'll give the whole board kind of a quick summary of the audit, and obviously you'll get your own copy of the audit, so, but yeah, we'll have our audit committee meeting at 7:30 on the 9th of March. Should be totally uneventful. As a reminder, I kind of mentioned it in the financials, but our office will bill Yahoo for the second to last project fee, and their quote recent project, what we call BF 2.2, they paid half their project fee at the time of closing and then spread it out equally over the next 5 years. So there's year 4 and year 5 to be billed. Speaking of Yahoo, I think I emailed you all. Somewhat unfortunate, but maybe not that much of a surprise. The data center manager, and not just for here, but all 3 of their data centers, Paul Bonaro, who's really been here since the beginning for like 13 years, has finally moved on. He's gone to work for American Express data centers, and somehow it's a work-from-home job. I don't quite grasp that, but nonetheless. I think even beyond that, though, I just think Yahoo's reached the point, it's boring for him. There's no more new projects. Half the employees work from home now, so I think he wanted to give some other individuals below him a chance, which is what they've done. There's a gentleman named Jeff Davis that I'd met once before, but had breakfast with Paul and Jeff last month as kind of a handoff. So I don't think it would be much different. Paul's always been tremendously responsive. We'll have to see if Jeff is as well. Terry's had his new board member orientation session. Kristen and I are doing hers right after the meeting this morning, so those guys will be as up to speed as we can get them. I think I also mentioned that I had an interesting tour and meeting with the new leadership at Moly Industries. They're no longer called Moly Magnetics. They've rebranded themselves Moly Industries and have 2 divisions, kind of the electromechanical engine, motor, pump kind of standard piece, and then all their magnet side as well. As a result of that meeting, I've arranged 2 subsequent meetings. They, are pretty much almost out of space, and so I've connected them with Insight Consulting, which is a nonprofit manufacturing consultant that a lot of entities utilize, to meet with them just kind of in general on where their business is, but also to potentially do a project with them to assist them in sort of getting more efficiencies out of how they lay out their factory, if you will. And the other one I've arranged with them is Empire State Development. There's a couple investments they need to make. I'm not sure they'll necessarily qualify. For example, they're in woeful shape on HVAC. Well, I don't know if Empire State will do that, because the other problem they really have is that there won't be jobs specific to, obviously, a new and improved HVAC system. But who knows? There's still a reasonable opportunity. So I have meetings in February with both those set-up meetings, but much, not that they were ever in bad shape, but much more brighter, aggressive days from Moly for sure. Kristen and Bob and I had a meeting with Mark O'Hearn from Evans Bank, who's our representative. Our concern had been, wait a minute, the interest rate isn't that great, but secondarily, what about CDs? And he was really helpful to kind of walk us through elements a lot of us know about, the required $100,000 balance in the checking account, what kind of earnings credits we earn, what kind of fees are associated with that. And if you notice, that's a decent uptick in interest. It's now at 1%. It might go to 1.1%, especially after the quarter point jump that we saw. So we'll keep an eye on that, but it's always helpful to get explanations from them. I'm doing 2 grants for the town, the engineering planning grant and rail trail. Those have both had a fair amount of work this month, and they will in February as well. In your last part of your packet, I included just the industrial sector market report, both locally and nationally, from CBRE, probably by far the biggest commercial realtor in, well, the country, but true here in western New York, and you can take a look at the highlights. But on the one hand, the vacancy rate is even lower than it was last year in terms of available industrial properties. On a more positive note, you can see there's 558,000 square feet of industrial/logistics space that's come online, and I think there's a much greater even planned for 2023. I can't see that. I think it's even over 1 million square feet of new warehouse and logistics space to come on space in 2023. I have the other sectors if you're interested, office, retail, and multifamily housing, but I didn't think you guys would be that interested. And then lastly, the other thing I forgot to put on the list was, if you look behind me, you'll see the phone number part of our sign on Junction Road. It blew down during the, barely fit in the back of my truck, but it blew off the main sign on Junction Road during the blizzard. And for some reason, I've looked at that sign 50 times. They're both in really rough shape from a painting perspective. It's amazing to me how much the paint is peeling, cracked, coming off, and so on. So I will be getting quotes on that. I've gotten one ballpark quote that, interesting enough, was just above our $5,000 cutoff. So I emailed that person last night and said, it doesn't matter if that's going to be your ballpark number. I'll get 3 written quotes. If not, I can go out, take yours and go out and get one more verbal quote. I've not heard back from them, but it's fine. I'll use either Ulrich and or Cooper signs if we need to get 3 bids. The only thing I'll do differently, and I can chat with Tom, is to put a much greater emphasis on timeliness of those repairs. I think the town's would have been waiting 6 months for the Ulrich to do the building and assessing sign. So, but yeah, it's funny. I've looked at that sign 50 times, and for some reason didn't realize just how far the paint's peeled off and cracked. And so, some point in the next couple of months, we'll get those refurbished/repainted. That's all. That's all they'll be. I think that's it for my report.
Tom, if maybe he could get some detail on really what that entailed. Seemed a little bit expensive just to, if it's just paint. I could see if they're refurbishing or adding new wood, but $5,000 seems like a lot of money.
Well, and if we get written quotes, obviously we can get that kind of detail. Yeah. Yep.
Alrighty. All right, thanks, Tom. And, attorney's report, Tom Seaman.
I don't have anything for right now, other than maybe we can go into executive. I'd ask for an executive session to discuss. I'll just give you some updates on your recent projects that we've come through the town, but also to discuss the old business item there, number 6. We can discuss that before we come back.
Okay.
The farming contract.
All right, we'll move to, you want to cover old business next then, you're saying?
No, we'll wait.
Or you want to wait until I...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't we have a motion then to move into executive session with consultation with attorney.
So moved.
Motion by Darlene,
Second.
second by Kristen. All right.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I guess we'll move on to new business then.
No.
New business. All righty. Anything else that we've missed? Anyone?
Nope, just a reminder that, if you're interested, we'll do the audit committee meeting at 7:30 next month on March 9th. And then one of the obvious elements of our board agenda will be to present to you the audit. But again, I told you I've seen it already, and it's as mundane as it could be, because we really didn't have a new project that involved a pilot. Our finances haven't changed much. You can see some of the more newer finances didn't start to flow through till 2023. So can't imagine it'll last much more than 15 minutes or something, but.
Alrighty,
If you wanna make a note, I won't be here next month.
okay. Sounds good. So, Tom, we're missing Dan and.
Dan and Janine, yeah.
Okay.
I will,
You're gonna call
I'm gonna
in
get
maybe.
here whether it's one way or, I'll get
Or
here.
call, well,
I'll
you
get
talk
here.
to me. You talk
Yeah,
to me.
just call in. All right, we'll take a motion
Bring
to close the meeting.
yourself second cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Your knee, thing that bends your knee for you,
Yeah, that's right.
Make a coffee trail.
We'll take a motion to close the meeting then.
I'll motion.
Motion by Kristen,
Second.
motion by Dan. All right,